Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob. It's Super League Malibu. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spas, SFuels Go Longer, HOKA Let's Fly, deboer wetsuits, Form Smart Swim Goggles, Zoot Sports, the original triathlon brand, Quintana, Premium Plus Sports, and of course our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest we just met a couple seconds ago, Sophie Coldwell joins us. Sophie, how you doing?
I'm good, yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to being here. I've been here a few days now, but yeah, enjoying being in the USA.
Did you get that? Because you don't have many races in the surf. You guys, have you played in the surf a little bit while you've been here?
Not yet, but thankfully we've done some camps out in Australia, so I'm hoping that puts me in some good stead for the surf, but not my normal habitat.
Yeah. So when did you get into this sport? Were you growing up? Were you a swimmer, a runner, or triathlete right from the beginning?
From the beginning, so I've been in triathlon for 20 years now. So
really?
A while, yeah, since I was 8.
Wow, and what got you in?
My mum just saw a local kids event advertised.
Yes.
Just at the swimming pool where me and my brother used to learn to swim at swimming lessons, and thought, oh, that looked fun.
Yes.
So we went down and did it, and he kind of got hooked in and did all the kids events in the UK, and kind of stepped up to international level and juniors and under 23s and
then all of a sudden here's the Brownlees getting gold and bronze and 12
and that did a lot for our sport,
it just made a check in.
Well,
I think what's interesting is once a sport gets accepted, once the host city is announced, then that host city in that country goes, we'll make sure we win something.
We need some medals.
We need some medals. We want to make sure we represent well.
Yeah.
If you look at what's happening in France right now, you look what happened in the UK for you guys, is all of a sudden there becomes an investment in the sport.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I started the first few years, there was not many kids in the age groups. You're talking 7, 8 kids in the age group. And then after 2012, there's now 30, 40, 50 kids in an age group. And it just has expanded massively to... huge kids events in the UK that were oversubscribed and stuff like that. So it kind of was, a real turning point for triathlon in the UK. Was
the goal from the beginning to get to the Olympics?
I suppose when you're younger, you kind of have that dream, don't you, of trying to go. And it's definitely still a dream to go. I mean,
of course,
it's obviously a tough one, but hopefully I can do enough to go next year. But I suppose when you're younger, it's almost like a bit of a pipeline dream. You don't really think that you're going to do it, and then when you kind of get older and you start doing international stuff and kind of build it on, you think, oh, maybe there is a chance I could actually go. So it's kind of it's obviously a dream to go. Right.
And so for 2020, you were 9th in the test event, heading in, and the women in the UK is just so deep. There's so many great women.
Yes, strength in numbers, and it has its pros and cons. We're very fortunate that because we're so strong with the athletes we got, men and women, that it means we have such a great national governing body and the support that we get and stuff like that. And then on the flip side, it's a bit savage when you've got all these athletes.
How are you going to get a spot?
It's obviously bittersweet that you're from a nation like that, because on one hand, like I say, you get the support and everything that comes with the success that we've had, and on the other hand, it's hard to make teams. Getting to,
and obviously the goal now is to get to France, get to Paris. And what is your path? What do you need to do?
So the next phase for our selection will come out for beginning of next year. So they'll look at kind of the first few World Series and make a decision on that. But it's not been that bit hasn't been come out completely of what they
so
want.
Beth has a spot.
Yeah.
Beth has a spot because she won Worlds and stuff. So, but there's still 2 other spots.
Yeah.
And you could be one of those.
Well, I hope so, but there's more than just me trying to get those spots.
There's just a few.
Yeah.
And how does Super League fit in? How do you find that works with your training for World Tri?
I think it just brings another dimension to the sprint and Olympic stuff. It's obviously been going on a few years, and I've been lucky to kind of do it every year that Super League's been available. And I definitely just think that it's just another style, another dimension to what you're trying to do, and it's always trying to elevate and think of new things, and that racing strategy and forward thinking, and just kind of those small bits that sometimes get overshadowed, I think, in Olympic distance racing. So it's definitely helped. And
in Super League, you're ranked number 2, right? 19 starts, 8 podiums, no wins at this point, but obviously very, very consistent.
Yeah, it's been good, and last year was the first year I got my kind of first podiums at Super League. So trying trying to creep up to that top step. But.
And so after the Olympics next year, after there's so many cool options for you because you can continue to do Super League, obviously World Triathlon, PTO, 70.3. You don't even have to go to the dark side and go, I'm going to 140.6. That's a long day.
That is a long day.
But do you see yourself doing potentially 70.3 in PTO?
Yeah, I think if you'd have asked me 5 years ago, I'd have been like, no, it's not for me. Like,
Right.
I don't think I'd be very good at it. And yeah, just like how long the racing is.
Right.
But I think as I've kind of gotten older and, you know, favouring the Olympic distance more and stuff like that, I definitely think that it'd be an option. And,
Absolutely.
you know, now that PTO have come in and kind of made it a much more viable option to do, yeah, it's definitely something that I'm kind of maybe flirting with the idea a bit more now.
It's great to have options.
Yeah, it is.
It's great to have options. And you've seen where people jump in,
Yeah.
right? You see people jump over and then have immediate success.
Yeah.
You know, Taylor Knibb jumps over and dominates, right, on a road
does,
bike.
yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you follow that? You follow what's happening?
Oh,
PTO?
yeah.
Yeah. Watch
Yeah.
all that stuff. What's your favorite for? There's triple mix, there's enduro. We have the Eliminator here in Malibu. What do you like best?
The enduro is probably the most similar to, I'd say, to like an Olympic distance,
Yeah.
just because it's, you know, that full, like it's just a longer race.
Right.
But I do quite enjoy the triple mix, you know, the thinking behind it, and
Yes.
it's all just a bit different. But yeah, they all bring their, you know, their own bits to the race, I suppose. But yeah, the Eliminator's a bit savage if you get kicked out straight away.
Yeah, Eliminator is tough, especially with surf.
Yes. Yeah.
Surf changes the whole game.
Yes. Yeah.
But like you said, you've trained in Australia. on the
Yeah,
Gold
we've
Coast.
done a couple of swim camps out there now, so we normally spend like the whole of February out there. Primarily swim open water focused, so
Right.
I'm praying that I'm a bit better than I was a couple of years ago, because yeah, it's not naturally where I'd like to swim.
So 2021, you Super League Arena Games Championship, yes? You won
Yeah,
that?
raced Rotterdam, won that one in, God, that seems a while ago now. Yeah, won that one in Rotterdam.
What do you like about the Arena Games?
Well, when the Arena Games came out, it was during like the COVID times.
Yes. There was nothing else
and
to
there
do.
was nothing. And I think like, yeah, I was doing like Zwift races in the garage at home, and I was like,
I'm
you know what I
going
mean?
out
I
of
was
my
like,
mind,
what am
yeah.
I doing? Like, this is so different to, you know, like what we'd normally do. And then when Arena Games came out, it was kind of like, I have no idea how this is going to go, but you know, I'm all for it. And again, it's just something different. It's something that, you know, especially where it sits, you know, February, March, April, it's early year racing for us. So it just breaks up the winter a bit. So yeah, I'm all for that as well.
So, I mean, we're talking 2014 gold in the mixed relay in Edmonton.
Yeah.
That's the mixed relay was just getting going back then, right?
Yeah, I think that was one of the first years that it was like, because that was the junior under 23
Yes, yeah.
race. And it was one of the first times that was ran. I was still a junior then, and
Yes.
kind of got shoved into this like team. I was like, oh, okay. And yeah, I don't think we expected to win that, but it was pretty cool to win that back then.
Was your background swimming?
I kind of did a bit more swimming like through, I've always done triathlon, but I definitely
Right.
have done a bit more swimming. I did like swim club and kind
Right.
of, but more of like a 100 meter
Okay.
sprint swimmer
So
rather than
not
a bit
1500
long.
meter.
No, not
No-
1500.
nothing like that.
No, did a bit of fly and stuff like that. But yeah, I kind of, that would be the one that I did more of outside of triathlon.
What's tougher, 200 fly, 400 IM?
200 fly. The
200
end of
fly.
that's just, but then I'm absolutely rubbish at anything other than a freestyle and fly really. So catch 22.
What do you look at as the best race you've had? In your career?
Yokohama this year.
Yokohama this year.
Yeah.
Why? What happened there?
My first win.
The first ever top
First
of the
ever
podium.
World Series win, yeah.
So you hear the anthem and the whole bit.
Yeah, and I wasn't really expecting it either. Like, I haven't gotten that many World Series podiums anyway, so to win in Yokohama was, yeah, it was special to me. And it was one of the, I raced there in 2017, and it was kind of one of my earlier World Series, and I got in a breakaway with Flora, just the two of us.
How fun is
And
that?
I was obviously still am, but you know, when you're so much younger, I didn't know her on a personal level. Like, I was in awe of her, like,
Of course.
massively, and I'm in this
Who wouldn't be?
2-up
Yeah.
breakaway with Flora, just like riding for my life, and I absolutely blew up on the run. But
Who cares?
It was such an amazing experience. So it kind of, I don't know, it was just nice to go back there, and that'd be my first win was there.
When you have a race like that with Flora, and it sort of changes you, because now because it's easy to say, well, I shouldn't be with Flora, and to sort of sit back, rather than to have the guts to say, I'm here, I'm going.
Yeah, and it was torrential rain as it normally is in Yokohama. And yeah, we kind of broke away and rode the whole thing, just the two of us. And at one point her mechanical electronic gearing didn't work, so she was like stuck in one gear, so she was like trying to fix it while we were riding. I was thinking, oh my gosh, she really needs to get that fixed, because I cannot pull us around for the rest of the 40k. But yeah, it was a great experience to be with her.
Very good. And then they come back and win it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I love that. That's very, very
Yeah.
cool. In terms of do you train differently for World Tri and for Super League, or is it about the same?
it's the same, just because I just don't think there's enough time like between the races. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we were racing Olympic distance last week,
Yes.
and now we're racing Super League this weekend. So I just don't think there's enough time to really change anything up. That being said, like we've now got, after this weekend, 3 weeks into Neom, and there's no more Olympic distance. So I'm sure like there'll be a bit of a shift to kind of like shorter stuff for that. But normally in, you know, like week to week, it's kind of very set.
Right.
Training.
Did you race in Paris at the test event?
Yeah.
And what did you think of the course?
It was so iconic. Like, it was one of those races that the course itself was a bit boring. Like,
Right.
the bike was
Yeah.
really boring.
Laps.
It was,
circles.
yeah, there was no hills. It wasn't that technical, like some cobbles, but yeah, it wasn't great. But the fact that, yeah, the crowds and like,
The architecture.
everything was
Yeah,
just incredible. Like, yeah, it was pretty mind blowing, really.
It's really sort of a dress.
Yeah.
It's an Olympic dress rehearsal, and you could see.
Yeah, like you think of what when you watch the Tour de France.
Yes.
And it, you know, it was kind of a bit weird riding there as well, but yeah, it was just iconic.
Very cool. And how'd you finish there at the test?
Not very well. I wasn't very well for the race,
But then you did better at Pontevedra.
yeah, had a bit of a better result there. So.
And the rest of the season, do you have other? What will you be doing the rest of the year?
Literally just this and Neom, and then that's
That's
me
it.
finished.
Then you.
Yeah.
Now, do you at the end of the season? Then do you and your do you coach yourself? You have a coach?
No, coach back in Loughborough. Yeah, I've been working with Adam for 14 years.
Oh my God.
So yeah, he's kind of
So he knows
coached me the whole
He
time.
knows you. Yeah. And
Yeah.
has seen the growth.
Yeah.
So then do you two of you sit down at the end of the year and go, okay, obviously the goal is the Olympics. What's plan B in
Yeah.
case that doesn't happen? And what do we need to work on?
Oh yeah, 100%. We'll have, after Neom, I'll have 2 weeks of no triathlon, no talking about triathlon, just other stuff.
Right.
And then I'll get back into training, and then the conversation of, right, what's the plan for training? What's the
Right.
plan for racing? What's the plan if we go to the Olympics? If we don't go to the Olympics, kind of like,
Yes.
yeah, sit down and map out what
out the year.
2024 would look like.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And now the last qualifier for you. You have a couple more qualifiers before.
So there'll be 3 World Series before the.
Okay, so they'll tie it into an existing
Yeah.
World Series. They won't do a special.
No,
Okay.
it'll be
They'll tie
tied
it
in.
into
Yeah.
World Series. Wow.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting to me is like you go to a lot of these races, and every country is different, which they're going to pick. So the athletes you're racing against, some of them are like, well, that's not that big a deal for me. I'm just here. And then someone like you is like, well, I got to finish top 8 or top 6 or whatever. Everybody's got a little different
It's all
agenda
different,
going
yeah.
into racing.
Some countries use the rankings. Some go off, you need to hit a podium. You need to hit top 6 at this race. Like, they're all so different. So.
And now that Beth has her spot, so you know who you have to beat.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously Georgia's been injured this year. She'll be coming back.
Right.
Kate's had some great races at the end of this year. She'll be obviously going for a spot. And then, Vicky's coming back and racing. Vicky's back racing this weekend, and yeah, it'd be iconic for her to make 4 Olympics. So I'm sure she'll do
whatever it takes.
Yeah, she'll want to go as well. So yeah, it's hard, and sometimes I might not be good enough to go, and I just kind of have to accept if that's what happens, and find something else to focus on.
Can you guys be friends when you have to sort of beat each other on the race course?
Yeah, I mean, I get asked that a lot, like, how do you deal with being friends with people? Is it just kind of those things? And I think, to me, it's one of those that when I stand on that start line, I want to beat everyone just as much as anyone else. It's, I don't stand there and go, I want to beat you because you're British. Like, I want to be the best athlete that I can be.
You want to be at the top of the podium, period.
Well, whether it's on top of the podium or not, like I kind of stand on that start line, and it's about how do I get the best out of myself, and how do I get the best result I can have.
Right.
And if I get beaten by someone better on the day, and if they're British, they're British, and it kind of is what it is. And I think because I've grown up in this like the British system for so long, like through my whole career, whether it's been junior, under 23, like whatever, there's always loads of athletes that are just as good, if not better. And yeah, you just have to use that as motivation to just better yourself rather than, I don't know, losing friendships or whatever over it. I think it can be quite toxic.
Do you like the team concept with being on the Sharks? And that's what makes Super League very unique.
Yeah, I mean, like when we turned up in London, there was loads of questions about like me and Beth, like, oh, how are you going to deal with being on the same team and rivals? And I was like,
we've always been in the same team.
We're always going to be rivals, but actually the fact that we get to work together to, you know, like score points and try and win as a team, like I'd rather her be on my team than not on my team, because she's going to score a lot of points. And I think that's what you just got to take away, that in all these situations I'd rather have the strongest team and work together in the Super League, and hopefully we can come out on top.
I love it. Well, hopefully the Sharks will dominate.
Hopefully.
Sophie, thanks very much for taking time.
Thank you very much.
Such a treat to get to meet you, and I can't wait to watch you race on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Sophie Coldwell has been our guest, everybody. Again, Breakfast with Bob, Super League Malibu. Hold on. We will be right back.